Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of the 5-star Grand Prix 2025 review series. I'm your host, as always, Scott E. We have a Red Stars day to review, both the Red Stars A and B blocks running here on a Wednesday to continue the tournament. I have some thoughts, not many thoughts, but I have some thoughts on the 8-match card that we witnessed here today. Of course, I will continue to give you all the information you need regarding this tournament on a show-to-show basis so that you, the viewer, who may not be watching every single show, can check it out. So, hopefully I can keep you up to date day by day and so on and so forth. But thank you everyone to listening. Before we get to the review, I ask you go check out day 1, which is up on the YouTube channel right now. Day 1 with a bumpy road. I think a lot of people agree on that. The 16 match card was a lot. So please, if you haven't, go check that out from Sunday. Like I said, I'll have the day of each tournament one way or the other. Just have to watch the show. And then I get on the microphone and we're all good. So go check that out. If you're interested in the Dream Star Grand Prix of Marigold, you can check out that preview. That's also now on the YouTube channel. But let's get to this card. We're not going to keep you here too long today. We're going to go over each match by match if you're new here. Then we'll go over the lay of the land, the MVPs, the schedule coming up, and so much more now that we are into this tournament a bit deeper. So I got my notes here. We're all ready to go. The notes are good to go. So let's dive into it now, shall we? Let's get this going here. Day 2 of the 5-star Grand Prix, an all Red Stars block day. Here we go. Starting off with Sayaka Kamatani versus Yuna Mizumori. This match and the continuation of Sayaka Kamatani opening these cards makes a lot of sense to me. You know, again, some viewers are going to come in and try to see Saya Kamatani, and part of it also is that Stardom likes to air the beginning of these shows live on YouTube for free. So if you give away the Saya Kamatani match for free, that may not be one of her more prestigious matches, of course, with like Hanan at Cork and Hall and things like that. You can get eyes on the product a little more. I think that makes a lot of sense. This match was about the same level, I thought, when it comes to Saya's output. I think when it comes to the first match and now this match with Sayaka Kamatani, it's a matter of it's fine. 7 minutes and 30 seconds was this battle with her, unsurprisingly defeating Yuta Mizumori to get the win. There was one moment in this match that drove me a little nuts, and it was, Yuta Mizumori got the upper hand. She put her sunglasses on, sat in a chair, and then just watched Sayaka Kamatani get in the ring and drop kick her. I was like, one of those moments of like that didn't make much sense, but it's fine. You also had just an overall simple by the books main eventer versus undercard wrestler match in this tournament. Saya Kamatani wasn't going to go all out. I think there was a lot of comparisons between Saya and Tam, right? And learning under that learning tree. A lot of the time, and I'll say this as someone who does think that Tam Nakano, especially over the past couple of years, has been one of the best performers in 5-star Grand Prix play. When she is wrestling an undercard wrestler, when she, take the night off, make it simple, not have a bad match, but she's not going to take out her body too much. And I think that was the same case here. Saya wasn't going to go above and beyond the Call of Duty for any reason, but Yuna Mizumori will. So Yuna Mizumori, hitting a bunch of lariats, just trying to create drama, create excitement here throughout the match, which I think worked perfectly fine. Ultimately, it was a nice, the Superman dive pin attempt that Yuna does. She got a nice near fall out of that, but it wasn't for too long. Saya Kamatani hit her with the Star Crusher to get the win. Like I said, a fine by the books match. Nothing you're going to write home about. by the end of this tournament. A nice little showing for Yuna Mizumori, and business as usual for Sayaka Kamatani, who continues to have an easy time in this tournament. Next up, you have Mei Seira versus Lady C. This match was fine. I think that's kind of my best way to say it. Again, it was fine. There was nothing bad about it. A lot of offense for Lady C, which I thought was kind of a big part of it. She hits the swing on Mei Seira. She had a top rope choke slam. She had propped Sarah on the top rope, hitting the choke slam. We've seen that a few times here. But yeah, it wasn't supposed to be a big showing from Mei Seira. Mei Seira did a lot of the bumping, made Lady C look good, and then eventually took the win. She did sell a massive big boot. She flipped inside out for that. I thought that was kind of the highlight of this matchup. But I think what's worth noting, and this is kind of how I'm going to attack these reviews, is we're at a 32-person tournament. I think it's only natural you look at a tournament like that and you look at the scope around and you ask yourself, is this wrestler earning their way into being deserving of being in a 5-star Grand Prix tournament? Because while there are 32 participants, I think many people agree not everyone is necessarily deserving. So when and this isn't just for the undercard, this is for everyone. It's everyone putting in the effort to show they deserve it. I think when it comes to someone like Lady C, she's trying, she's going out there, she's doing her most that she can. It's just a matter of, is it going to be a super duper competitive match, or is it going to go like this one where she has a lot of offense but ultimately is tapped out to Mei Seira's altered Dragon Slaper? It's fine. I think Lady C has done fine through her first 2 matches. Lady C's already faced 2 of the 3 top competitors in this block, which I find fascinating, right? She's already went against Sayaka Kamatani. She's already went against Mei Seira. There's not a lot of room for her in terms of, again, going up and maybe having that breakout match, but who knows? Maybe Hanan and her have something there together. But this was fine. I will say for day 2, I think there was obviously a much better look overall in terms of, we had real matches for the most part, like real times, real matches. And I think that was kind of the thing I was most worried about. Like, are we going to rush through a lot of these? This match was also, was 7 minutes and 27 seconds. The previous one was 8:42. So I messed that up. I said 7:30. That's the date. So this one went 7 minutes and 27 seconds. A fine time for these types of matches. But the next match is one I'm actually excited to talk about, because I think it's the case of someone doing everything in their power to play up to a level. And that was Starlight Kid versus Rian. Rian got new gear. She has a new confidence about her, and she is going into these matches giving it her all. I have been someone that has been very up and down on Rihanna. Like, I don't see maybe what others are seeing. I am seeing it now. Through her first 2 matches, first one with Rina, now with Starlight Kid, she is showing that she wants to be in this tournament. She is showing she wants to belong in this tournament. When you get to the end of the 5-star Grand Prix here in 2025, you're going to look back on Rihan's performances against 2 wrestlers who I think are top level stardom wrestlers and say, she went out there, she did her best, she tried. And I think that's really cool to see. She's growing in front of us. She's growing in real time. She's learning through this tournament. That's what you want a lot of these wrestlers to do. And I think she's doing that. Again, more confidence. I love when she kind of just hits the RKO in a running form, RKO cut or whatever you want to call it. But this match was also playing to Starlight Kid's continuation. We've seen her do it all year long. She is going to work your leg to get the Black Tiger leg killer locked in to get the wins. She was working Rian's leg, but Rian kept going and going. Ultimately, Rian hit a super cutter, which was awesome for a great near fall. We got another close near fall again. Starlight Kid was very giving to Rian here. They had a 9-minute and 20-second match. So again, this is the point. This was the conversation on day 1. Give them more time. It's the only way to sink or swim is to get the time necessary to have that option. I liked this match. It was pretty solid. Up until this point, the best match of the show. I thought three matches were pretty good. As you'll see at the end, I have kind of a basis of match quality to check out. It's like, match of the tournament level. Um, we'll have match of the tournament level, we'll have great, we'll have very good, and we'll have good. Right now, we have one great match, two good matches. We'll see where those lie, but this was good. For what Rian's supposed to be doing, what she's supposed to be bringing to the table, this was good. And it's a case of Starlight Kid also being willing to lift up a wrestler along the way. Again, that's very important to this and something that I was very happy to see overall in both of their performances. So, a solid, fun match here. I can't say the same for this one. This match was bad. Priestley, Azusa, and Naba. Listen, I came into this tournament hoping, wanting B to show signs. There are two matches we haven't got there, and I think a big problem for B is I don't think she knows what she's like. She doesn't know what role she's supposed to be in. She was more fitting as a heel. That's where she was in her last time around. But here she is wrestling Azusa Naba, who's part of the heel group Hate. And she's just kind of there. They're just kind of doing things. Submissions galore in this match. This didn't feel like an Azusa Naba match. I feel like so many of the times, Azusa Naba, despite being the youngest competitor in any tournament this year at 17 years old, I think she kind of has a good understanding of who she wants to be and what kind of matches she wants to have. This match didn't allow her to do that. I feel like in defeat, she didn't gain anything. And in victory, I don't think B did either. This was not a good match. I did not enjoy it. I'm upset about it because, again, I'm hoping for B, and I'm not closing the door on it yet. She still has the matches against the top of the block. But listen, she's 2-0 so far. She's clearly going to finish towards the top, if not in that top three. She needs to pick it up more. She needs to find it more. And again, as I said last recording, I know she hasn't had a lot of matches, so she's got to be rusty, right? Ever since, not even since she got released from WWE, like she got released earlier this year, but she hadn't wrestled since November. So again, I'm giving the leeway, but I'm also being honest. This was not a good match. My least favorite match of the tournament so far. They went the longest too. They went forever. They went 10 minutes and 26 seconds. B won with the plan B. That's her sit out finisher, the sit out like side slam, whatever it's called. It's called the Plan B, which is a good name, admittedly. But yeah, this didn't allow Zeus to be who she is. I don't think B really knows what she's trying to be yet. And I think that's part of the problem. I think she more fits into heel. I don't know if these crowds want to cheer her necessarily. Because one, she's just returning, two, she was a heel last time. So it's really odd, but what are you going to do? Not everything can be perfect. Now, let's talk about what I thought was the best or tied for the best match of the show. This might make for a hot take, but I do think this was tied for the best match of the show, and it's not really a shock. You see Azumi, you see Tomoka Inaba, you kind of expect high quality. You kind of expect something to be really good. I want to give credit to Tomoka Inaba. She has entered this tournament, right? Her first two matches were against Starlight Kid and Azumi, and she has looked more determined and more locked in than maybe any wrestler in this tournament. She has a presence about her, a confidence about her that makes her feel almost like the superior of the Azumis and the Starlight Kid, which is not really the case of what she is, especially in her group. Right in God's eyes, she's when Shuri's around, third, fourth in the group, probably fourth, even behind Hina at this point. So it's really cool to see her have this confidence, have this swagger, and bring it against the likes of an Azumi and a Starlight Kid. I thought this match overall was, like I said, solid. If not, I don't want to say underwhelming because it was a good match. But I think they have better. I know they have better. They probably, I think, had better last year. They had a really good match last year. Um, but honestly, based on how this card was going, and I think this show has a better understanding of where we want to go with this tournament than say the first one overall. But I still think the first show had better highs for sure. But this was a good match, strong back and forth between the two, good chemistry, good speed, just honestly kind of what you expect out of them. Tomoka's trying to break down the arm of Azumi. The real slip up in this match. Oh, at one point, Tomoka hits this awesome lift and spin kick that kind of took Azumi out. I thought that was sick. But the one problem to this match is they clearly were going for the finish. Azumi goes for the Azumi Sushi. Tomoka kicks out of the first one. She rolls through, but they were against the ropes, so they had to work on the fly, redo the finish. Az Azumi hits a double stomp, then gets to the Zumbi Sushi to get the victory. This was the longest match on the night at 12 minutes and 32 seconds. So Tomoka Inaba, now your longest tenured wrestler in terms of time. She's at 26 minutes and 45 seconds so far in this year's tournament. That is 3 minutes more than the second highest. So a lot of time being given to Tomoka through her first two matches, rightfully so. And honestly, overall, pretty solid couple matches there. So Tomoka right now is kind of your leader for MVP based on those who have two matches at least. And I think that's really cool for her overall. Next up, we had Hanan versus Waka. I now have to ask the question because I asked it when it was announced, and I'll ask it again. What was the point of putting 32 people in this block or in this tournament? I know, like back and forth on is it good, is it bad, whatever. I understand why they did it. They want to get every wrestler in the tournament because they didn't get to be in the Cinderella. But this match was just the follow up of Waka not wrestling. She didn't wrestle on the first. And again, I'm not a big Waka fan. Like, I'm not sitting here and sitting, oh, I need this to be a 10-minute Waka match. But this was a minute and 12 seconds. Her match last time was 28 seconds, right? So she's not getting an opportunity to have real matches here. So I can't even judge, is she doing her best? It's a very fascinating world because obviously, like, I don't mind the short matches at all, but it's hard you kind of feel bad for someone like Waka that's, they do these quick exchanges, pretty solid. Like, the match wasn't bad, obviously. I mean, it was a minute and change, but I thought they did a good job at getting there, teasing the backdrop driver, teasing the pinfalls, teasing on the roll ups, and ultimately Hanan kind of hits the backdrop driver out of nowhere to pin Waka and win the match instantly. Um, it's a case of will Waka ever have a true match? And again, I don't really necessarily have too much worry about it. But if you're going to give her the real match, wouldn't you rather give it against one of the higher people on the card rather than her and Lady C going like 7 minutes? I don't know. That's just me. But she's through both Sarah and Hanan now. Hanan gets her first win, moving to 2 points after the upset loss against Azusa Inaba on opening night, while Waka sits at 0-2 with a 1 minute and 40-second time in the ring thus far. So that's pretty crazy. Then we had the semi-main event, the Cinderella tournament final rematch, and I quite enjoyed this match. I have it on par with Azumi and Tomoka, which might be a hot take. I don't know, but that's how I felt when it was all said and done. You know my feelings on Rina. This is my favorite Stardom wrestler, so there's a little bias there, admittedly. But her and Kurara do really well with each other. I think Kurara has a comfort with Rina that you could definitely see because I think with Kurara there has to be that comfort. There has to be a level of comfort for her to have her stand out showings. They were off to a quick start. The way they started this, I thought this match was going to last sub 5 minutes, truthfully. And it didn't go long. They only got, oh, it did go long. My apologies. 11 minutes and 6 seconds is perfect amount of time. They got a very, very proper amount of time. Good chemistry. nice, fast, steady pace. It was steady, but it was also fast. They were going, going, going. Great exchanges. Early in the match, Rina hits the double knees, kick out by Kurara. Kurara gets her usual sleeper on. I don't love the way the sleeper goes because it takes up a lot of time, and I just not a big submission wrestler depending on the submission. But when Kurara jumps on the back and takes them down, it works because it works on every opponent. So I get that. But sometimes I think it kind of can mess with the momentum sometimes of where the match is going. Like I said, it was really fast paced and that slowed it down, but they got back on their feet. They kept it going, kept it working. And based on their final and now this, I just think they're a good matchup for one another, which obviously bodes well with both of them having incredibly bright futures. Um, Rena hit a double knees again for a near fall, a great near fall. She then turned that into, that was after the first time locking in the hydrangea as well. Sayaka Kurara turns it back around, hits a big time spear, a great spear, one of her better ones on Rina. That was a great shock, a great turnaround on the match. She also hits her Falcon Arrow. I don't remember what she calls it, but she hits the Falcon Arrow for a near fall. Obviously, is that the move she beat Rena with in the tournament? I don't remember the Cinderella final, but I feel like it was. Either way, big time kick out. They're working, exchange, reversal, reversal, and then Rena gets the gory bomb kind of out of nowhere to get the victory. Moving to 4 points, a strong start for Rena. Obviously, Rena's going to drop a match here and there to the higher people in Red Stars B, but this match was very solid, very solid. I think if you're gonna go check out matches from night two, you check out this one, you check out the Azumi Tomoka one. I'm not gonna have it on my must see list. They just missed that bar so far, but I do think that they're worth it, especially if you're a Joshi fan, a Stardom fan. You want to see these two continue to grow together. You want to see Azumi and Tomoka do their thing. I think those are worth checking out as well. This was a fun one. This was a fun one. I liked it in the semi-main event. Honestly, I would have had it main event. I thought that going into this, like the Cinderella final can main event this card specifically, but that was not the case. As you know, if you saw the thumbnail, the main event was Natsupoi versus Natsuko Tora. So that makes that two main events for Natsupoi thus far. Um, this match was fine. It was fine. Like there wasn't an urgency to it. The crowd was kind of out of it, which shocked me. I thought the heel versus Poi would have a little bit more anticipation, but that wasn't the case. It was kind of quiet. And it just wasn't a match that I think maybe people were excited for in the main event. Again, I think Kurara and Rina, you switch these two, probably benefits both sides. Earlier in the match, Natsupoi does a water spit to Natsuko Tora, which I think is notable considering where we come back around. She had gone for the German suplex, but she couldn't lift up Tora. Tora falls back, squash, and that Tora's great. There's like this image of Tora just being like trying to stay on Poi for the pin, like perfectly. Kick out, obviously, but I thought that was a fun little spot. Um, the match continues. Tora gets the advantage, heel work, yada yada yada, and ultimately the closing stretch is where you get most of the match from. Uh, Natsuko Tora went for the U style splash where she does the muscles and does the leaping on the top rope and launches herself, but she missed that, and that allowed Natsupoi to what I thought get the closing stretch and the eventual win. She hits a super kick, then she gets to the German suplex. So again, playing back to the beginning of the match, hitting the German suplex this time, picture perfect one. Tora lands right on the top of her head, and now she's closing in on the win. She goes up to the top rope for the Ferial Gift, but she crashes and burns. Tora puts up the knee, she blocks it, and that's when, as they get to their feet, the refs watching hate. Tora uses the mist, hits the Death Valley driver, hits the Swanton bomb, whatever you want to call it, and gets the victory to go to 4-0. So just like that, if you remember 2 years ago when Tora went crazy in the tournament, remember she was like undefeated or something crazy. What was it? Was she undefeated? Either way, she starts off uh Oh, she went really strong and then she lost the final night. But she starts off 4-0, or not 4-0, 2-0 with 4 points, beating Natsupoi and Azumi, 2 top 3 favorites in this block, which I think is gonna be very important in the final stretch now. When it comes down to that final day, it feels like Tora might be one of those top 3 with 2 major wins like that. It's gonna take some upsets here along the way to stop her. Um, but yeah, this was a fine main event. I thought Poi's match with Kurara was better on Sunday, and it is just what it is. Top to bottom, a fine show, nothing to write home about. Waiting for that one great show to really pick up the pace. I don't think we got the great match I was looking for. We got 2 really solid matches, though. We got some fine undercard stuff overall. But yeah, that was the match here. And that was the show for the 5-star Grand Prix. So now I bring you to my list that I watched. Worth the watch. So I told everyone, if you want to skip to the end, you can see the list of matches I would go out of my way to see so far through this tournament. You have Sari versus Konami, which is just at the level of great. Top of the line so far, the match of the tournament thus far. Then you would have a tier under that, very good. You'd also have a tier above great, which would be match of the tournament level. I do think Sari versus Konami can and will be cleared. But that right now is your match of the tournament. Then you have good, which is kind of the bottom ring of where I will put the matches I think are worth going out of way to see. Saida versus Sariano and Tomoka Inaba versus Starlight Kid, both also day one. So those are the matches worth watching. Now let's get to the stats, shall we? Obviously, these are brought to us by Peps. So we thank Peps for continuing to put these together. But if I get up the sheet here, we are here at the stats. Oh, there we go. The stats are as followed, as you can see in red stars. A on the left, you have Bia Priestley, Mei Seira, and Sayaka Kamatani, all undefeated, 2-0 with 4 points. Azusa, Inaba, and Hanan both have 2 apiece, while Lady C, Waka, Tsukiyama, and Yuna Mizumori all are at 0. Kind of exactly how you'd expect that bottom 3 to go. I don't see that changing too much. Azusa will probably drop down into that 4th spot above Lady C, Waka, and Yuna, if I had to guess. And then it'll be between Hanan, Sayaka Kamatani, Mei Seira, and Bia Priestley in the closing stretch. In Red Stars B, Hate reigns supreme. You got Natsuko, Tora, and Rina with 4 points each. Then you have Azumi, Natsupoi, Starlight Kid, and Tomoka Inaba all with 2, while Rian and Sayaka Kurara sit at the bottom with 0. They are the rookie tier of that block, so they're not going to probably get a lot of points. I expect Kurara to get some, but not today. I also meant to bring up Rina got redemption, right, for that Cinderella final, getting the win over Kurara, which is always important as well. But let's now go look at the MVP look for the first time since the beginning of this tournament. It's not that deep. It's not that exciting yet, but we'll get there. I think Blue Stars has a lot of MVP options as well. Let me share that screen real quick. So here is your MVP list right now. Your leader in the clubhouse, in my book, of course, is none other than Tomoka Inaba at 3.38. Starlight Kid right behind her at 3.25. And then actually Sayaka Kurara's in third with 3.13. I think she's had a good start to the tournament. So that is your MVP race thus far. Like I said, I haven't been very high on certain things. It'll come, some ratings are small because the matches were just too short. It was hard to have a match that really stood out. So I think that's a very important part of this conversation. I think that's a very important part of this overall tournament is now that we're into the full fledged big time, everyone gets time and everything. That's when we're going to get our best matches. That's when we're going to get the matches that stand out. This card overall, I again don't think it was the strongest card to date. I think we will have better. I think we have better next time around when we get to it on Friday. I think we're going to be very happy with this show overall. There is certain things that I'm excited about. So let's look at the upcoming card. Of course, we will have this recording on Tuesday for you to look forward to. This, of course, comes from Dylan Murray. We always thank him for this and the work he puts in on these. So, as you can see here, The card is as follows: you have Soriano versus Miyu Amasaki. That's a match I'm looking forward to. You have Bozilla versus Yuri Hime, Aya Sakura versus Ruaka, Saida versus Ami Sourei. That should be a good one as well. Momo Watanabe versus Konami. That'll be interesting seeing how those two collide. Rana Yagami versus Sari. Sari coming off the loss to Konami. That could be destruction, but hey, their match at Corkin earlier this year was really good. So I'm excited to see those two. And then Momokogo versus Suzuki. So that will be the Friday show. We'll have that recorded. So just 7 matches on that one. And then we will also have the Sendai Pit the next day. And then we'll have the double. So there will be 16 matches on Sunday. We will record all those, but the difference is, of course, it's split into 2 shows. So I think everyone will get their proper time. Obviously, it will be hometown matches for Hina, Hanan, Rina, and Yuri Hime. So that'll be interesting to see when we get there. But thank you, everyone, for listening once again. I appreciate you always supporting me. Hopefully, you enjoy these reviews. Listen, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer when I do these whatsoever. I want these shows to be great, and I think we are on our way. I think we're making the right steps. The first show had better top tier matches, but I think this show had a better feel of what this tournament's supposed to be and what it's going to be. I think the Blue Stars have a real chance to be the better side this year as well, just because of the matches. But all of those big matches that I think a lot of us are circling, we're really excited for those. When you have 32 people in this tournament and a lot of them are still undercard wrestlers, you're not going to have a tournament that is wow factor. You're not going to have a tournament that is every single night banger after banger type thing, right? You're going to have ups and downs along the way, and I think that's what we're seeing through the first 2 days. Now the blue will be good. I think this weekend has a lot of strong matches, so I'm excited. I think we're gonna have. I think that list that I made is gonna fill up over those 3 days this weekend, and we'll have plenty of content right here on the YouTube channel. If you subscribe, here's everything to expect over the next couple days. So like I said, Friday we'll have the review for that show, but Friday is also the day that we will have the 5-star Joshi show, the latest episode out on here. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. On Saturday we'll have reviews for the continuation of the 5-star Grand Prix, but also the opening night of the Marigold Dream Star Grand Prix. Those will both be up that day, and the same will go for Sunday. Both companies have shows. I don't think the Marigold one's airing live that day. So once that's up and recorded and up on Wrestling Universe, that'll come out whatever day that is. But lock in. We have a lot going on. We have a continued lot going on. I'm excited. I'm enjoying doing these, and I hope you are enjoying listening to them. So thank you, everyone, for listening. This was the day 2 review of the 5-star Grand Prix 2025. Until next time, which is on Friday, I will see you. Bye-bye.